From Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back-to-back bombs. From Junior J, Joey and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan and the Sheriff to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C to King Felix, Kyle Cruz and Cano to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. My, oh my, there has been some firings. There's been some hirings. It's been a wild week for your beloved Seattle Mariners. You know we're going to rep this team from every corner of this beautiful country. From Nashville, Tennessee to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Where in the world is RG at? We never know what truck stop he could be at. And of course, I'm up here in Little Lake Stevens. I hope y'all rep it from everywhere in between. And we had some technical difficulties on Sunday night in the wonderful state of New Mexico. The internet was down for a day or two, so we were unable to take it live with my homie. We got to give a huge shout out to my boy Indy, super producer, rocking the ones and twos, making the show come to life for everybody. Vaden Podcast Services, Indy and his wonderful fiance holding it down for us. My main man RG was been unable to make it tonight. He is the one providing the goods and services to everyone here in this country. But y'all know what time it is. I am always thrilled to welcome all the homies in the live chat. Let's frickin' go. And y'all know what time it is with the Mariners. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? There must be a circus in town. Let's shut the shit down on these clowns. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. Indy. We have a Mariners Hall of Famer, a Mariners legend, the best catcher in team history. Mr. Dan Wilson is now the manager. Give me your first thoughts on that, bro.
Well, I mean, it seems like the team's playing with some urgency. Like, I don't know if that's more of Dan Wilson's effect on the team or just them seeing, somebody finally make a change, and that change being Servais and DeHart leaving. And, I think it's been good. I like it. It's positive. It's been positive at bats since, the first game that Dan took over. I just want to see it continue and see some consistency there. Like, I don't want to, get too hopeful and jinx anything, but it does look good.
Man, forget it, Jinx. It's all about how you play. It's all about how you hit. Ginger Fit Dad saying that Servais and DeHart were holding us back. I can kind of get on that train now, and it took me a long time to get to the point where I felt that it was maybe time to see Servais exit the building, so to speak. And it's funny because last Sunday we were all talking about how long they were going to keep their jobs, and 3 days later the guys are fired. So obviously we weren't the only ones thinking that that was a possibility. Texas Power Ranger is crying about something. Man, you won the World Series last year. Your Houston Texans are one of the single most talented teams in the NFL. I don't know what you're crying about, homie, but let us in on it. But here's the thing, man. We hired Dan Wilson as the full-time manager. He is obviously the best catcher in Mariners history. Since 2013, so what is that, 11 years now, he's been the minor league catching coordinator and a roving instructor. The Mariners have had great catching along the way. Cal Raleigh, Tom Murphy, Harry Ford is looking like he is going to be a possible stud. And we know the leadership he brings to the table. And then, Indy, there's another factor I considered because Dan was openly talking about how he was going to bring some of his Lou Piniella vibes that he learned playing for the legend Lou all those years. And then I think back to Lou Piniella managed the Reds to the World Series title in 1990, I believe. And the only two Reds that ended up coming over were Dan Wilson and Norm Charlton. So obviously, Lou Piniella saw something in Dan, and I think that Dan will be able to bring in some of Lou's piss and vinegar, his anger, his intensity, his propensity to hold players accountable, his honesty with players. I love how Mike Blowers always tells the story. It was like 95, 96, 94, somewhere in the mid 90s. And Blow gets called into the office, and Lou just tells him, Mike, if you don't start hitting, I'm going to have to bench you. Is that pressure? Yes, but everyone wants honesty from their bosses, and baseball is no different. Do you think that having a Lou Piniella disciple might be a major positive for this ball club?
Definitely. I mean, it'd be hard to find a like a reason why it would be a negative, you know, in my opinion. We had some of our best hitting ball clubs ever under Lou Piniella. So if he can bring some of that side of just the accountability and mindset at the plate and just adjusting the approach as it seems like they've started to do pretty quickly already. I mean, what one of those games we had 5 strikeouts only, which is humongous for us. Humongous. So if we can continue on the trajectory that we're on, let's go. I think he's already gonna bring just a little bit more of an old school like approach to the game, just based off some of the things he said in interviews and just the era that he played in actively was not one that was relying heavily on analytics, so hopefully he can get that whole only 8 strikeouts tonight. Hopefully he can get that whole analytic dependent mindset out of the ball club because what has that gotten us?
hmm hmm
Where's it gotten us?
I mean, the analytics are great. They're great to help guide you, but you can't be thinking about analytics when you're in the batter's box. You can't be thinking about analytics when you're out in the field. That's when you hopefully have done your homework enough that you know your game plan. Like there's a difference between having a game plan and then overthinking, paralysis by over analysis, that sort of thing. Like we got to be able to let our players play free, have fun. When you play free and
Mm-hmm.
have fun, you can also bring the intensity. And I freaking love it. Ginger fit 3.5 back with 30 to go. That's really reasonable. Because just think about it in a simple way. Can we make up one game every 10 ball games? That's very doable. Houston has a tough schedule. What Bryce Harper, I think, helped us out big time in extras tonight,
Mm-hmm.
Monday night, that is. Let's go Phillies. Let's go Royals. Indy told us that the Astros finished the season with Seattle and Cleveland. So they have some really tough series down the stretch. The Mariners got to do
Mm-hmm.
work. But you know what I've been telling people? It came to me, Indy. Sometimes things just come to you. Edgar Martinez is the hitting sensei. That's what I'm calling him from now on. He is the hitting sensei. And we went over this earlier in the season. I looked at every hitting coach in baseball and recognized only a couple of names. So it's really not easy to find such a proven star, such a proven stud, a Hall of Famer to be your hitting coach. I'm just praying that Dan can convince him to stay long term past the
Mm,
season. But I mean, we're talking about our hitting coach is a 7-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger, 2-time batting champ, 1-time RBI leader, Hall of Famer, career 312 average with a 933 OPS and a 147 OPS plus. I'm running out of breath because I'm getting so hyped about that. And those career totals include his injury plagued years and his decline. That's incredible. We talked
yeah.
about this earlier, dude, in the season. Back in 2015, Howard Johnson, the hitting coach, was fired on June 20th. In the 68 games with Hojo as the hitting coach, the Mariners hit 233 with 3.4 runs per game. In that same season, in the 94 games that Edgar was the hitting coach, the team bounced back to hit 260 with 4.6 runs per game. That's the type of difference that Edgar can make. Since Dan and Edgar have been hired on Monday night, we are recording right now. Since they've been hired, we are at 4.5 runs per game, a 3-1 record. Let's freaking go, dude. This shit is real, and you know my stance, bro. Ichiro fan. I know you love Ichiro. I do too.
Yes, sir.
But I think Edgar would be a vastly better hitting coach because I feel that Edgar, he is the hitting sensei, and he is one of the smartest hitters the game has ever seen.
For sure. And Ichiro did a lot of stuff you can't teach. So I see I see where you're coming from, and I agree. For sure. Man, it feels good to see Edgar and Dan in the dugout though.
Oh, are you kidding
Feels good
me?
to see it, man. It's
Nostalgia.
nostalgic as yeah.
Oh my god.
I wasn't old enough for the first time around there in the dugout together, so I'm getting to witness it. All those
So
walks are no coincidence, too. Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. It's a testament to
Edgar
what.
always had a plan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Edgar always had a plan. And I heard such an interesting thing from Mike Blowers. It might have even been does a local radio segment once a week, usually on Mondays or Tuesdays, and he was talking about how Edgar knew pitchers and hitting so well. He would be like, "They're gonna do this to me, but they're gonna do this to you, Blow." So it's just so interesting. The Edgar is the legit hitting sensei. I
Yeah.
just want to, you know, 1-8 road trip, Indy. If they go 4-4, I think Scott keeps his job. But it was just such an epic collapse, a lackluster team. I don't like to get on effort a ton because everyone's like, oh, they're not trying. Well, every time you hit well, it looks like guys are trying. When you can't hit a goddamn thing, it sure looks like you're not trying very hard out there because they're
Yeah.
not allowed to run the bases. You can't run hard if you don't hit the goddamn ball. So it's kind of a catch 22 there, but sometimes I like to look at things through the lens of a casual fan indie, and my little sister would definitely be a very casual Mariners fan, and she definitely couldn't have told you who Scott Service was if I asked her, "Hey Rosie, who's Scott Service?" But I told her last night. She came to our house, had dinner with us, and I told her we fired our coach, and she's like, "Oh, I thought we were doing so well when he went to the game in June." I was like, "Yes, but we've also had an epic collapse, which we all know happened." And then I told her, "Get this, Ro, Dan Wilson is now the manager," and she shit her pants. Dude, my little sister was so hyped to hear that Dan Wilson was the manager, and this is just the fun part, though. This is all the fans, this even the very casuals who maybe know two players on the team are getting hyped. They're pumped. Everyone's thrilled. Dan Wilson's the fucking manager of the Mariners, and I absolutely love it.
Dan the manager, man. It's awesome.
Oh, I like
It's
that.
awesome. Dan the manager. It fits. He evolved from Dan the man to Dan the manager.
There we go. He's like a Pokemon.
Yep, pretty much. Wonder what's next.
Well, you were asking about them Kingdom days, man. You want to know what they would play when Dan came up? What a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Say it
That's
again
awesome.
now. I'm not sure that Dan chose that song, but that's how it was back at that time. But we can go wild over Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez, but somebody on social media just asked a simple question, and it was, is Dan going to be able to make this team turn around? And I simply said no.
Ooh.
And obviously I'm beyond thrilled about Dan Wilson, but we have to hit. If we don't
Mm-hmm.
hit, it doesn't matter who the manager is. So I just want to give some props to the guy that we've been very disappointed with this year. In the offseason, we were unbelievably hyped to acquire him. Jorge Polanco has had an extremely tough season, but I was saying this for a while. I was like, they're going to have to just look themselves in the mirror, some of these guys, realize your stats are going to suck this year, but that doesn't matter. You can still turn it around and make a huge difference. In the last 15 days, Polo has a 932 OPS. In the last 30 days, Polo has an 875 OPS, including a screaming Mimi of a home run tonight. We absolutely need Polanco to turn it around. And his hitting style, I think, could really benefit with an Edgar Martinez because he's not pure power. He's a gap to gap, line to line type of hitter. That's exactly what Edgar was. Sometimes those doubles will turn into home runs. This might be a perfect marriage with those two.
Oh yeah. I mean, he already before the switch for manager and hitting coach, he already looked like he was turning it around and like he was finding his groove and getting comfortable, which is like saying that is like a foreign saying for people that we acquired to come here and hit, saying that they're finding their groove that doesn't feel normal because usually they just come here and suck. But you're right. We need him to step his game up. We need Justin Turner to be clutch in the postseason in that because if we get there, we need that experience in big moments to come through, and we need Cal to keep dumping. Julio, I'm not too worried about him, honestly. I don't know. It's a tough conversation to have, but I'm not as worried about him as I see a lot of people online are. Like I saw we won 5-1. One of the first things I saw online. Julio went 0-4 tonight. Of course, another 0-hit game for Julio. It's like can't just be happy with the win. Like,
Nah, man.
what the fuck? Makes no sense.
Edgar's going to be great for Julio. He's going to be because he needs to be more selective. He just needs to be more selective. Somehow in his first 3 years as a Major League Baseball player, his selectivity and his patience at the plate has actually gone backwards in my opinion. And the stats bear it out. He swings at as many pitches as anybody in baseball. He even has a higher swing percentage than Javi Baez, for Pete's sakes. And that's one of the poster childs for free swinging. So
Yeah,
Julio
for
needs to
sure.
get it right, but it is what it is right now. Oh, Ginger Fit. That was one thing I wanted to touch on. Good to see Randy hit his first homer at T-Mobile. And me and Indy were talking about it just before we went live with this thing. And you can't give a Major League Baseball team extra outs. And it feels like teams this year have been getting away with highway robbery on the Mariners because we couldn't cash in on errors and walks. You cannot give extra outs to big league ball clubs. Julio gets on an air. Next thing you know, 3-run bomb by Rosarena. We're way ahead in the ball game. This is exactly what we have to do. Indy, we have to punish teams if they give us extra outs, and we finally frickin' did it.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to capitalize on any and every opportunity we get. Like we have this much room to play with for this season. This much. Like we have to take every opportunity we get to make something shake. And
What's
and for the Julio haters, you also have to remember his glove is beyond valuable in center field. So, like, it's not just. I get hitting is one of the most important parts of the game, but you got to have people out there that can make plays that can save runs, like robbing home runs, like we've all seen him do multiple times, or just cover so much ground so fast, like Earl Thomas in center field.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like you can't. It's hard. Like he allows the corner outfielders to play a little different, because of his range. It's he affects the games in ways beyond just hitting. So
You read my mind there, bro, because I was just thinking that type of range allows you to stick Mitch Haniger out there once in a while.
exactly, like it allows you to put a stick in the mud out there. You could put Tom Brady at right field; it wouldn't matter.
There we go. Hey, we'll win like 6, 7 titles then if that was the case. But
Hey, he'll
I
get their
also want
minds
to.
right.
Oh, you know that. I also want to give a huge shout out to Leo Rivas, though. Leo Rivas doing yeoman's work. He's been a career minor leaguer. He was probably thinking in the back of his mind, am I ever going to get a chance in the big leagues? JP's been hurt a bunch. Dylan Moore, after a hot start, has surely come back to earth. And Rivas, all he's done is hit 279 with a .5 WAR in only 29 games. That's really freaking good, especially for a guy that you expected nothing out of, who, unless the starter didn't get hurt, would have never seen the Major League Diamond. So good for you, Leo Rivas. We've needed everything you've provided to the ball club, including the walk-off single on the weekend. But it's good for him because he's showing other teams also that he can be a big league player. And it's been crucial to the team. So I just wanted to give some flowers to Leo Rivas. And then, of course, man, Brian Woo has been unbelievably outstanding with a 2.05 ERA, a .81 whip, and 7.6 K to walk ratio. That's getting up in George Kirby's territory, man. I mean, if
Oh
the
yeah,
playoffs started tomorrow and we were in it, how could Brian Wu not be one of the starters right now?
yeah. I mean, you can make that argument for five guys. So it's a good problem to have because I mean, could you imagine having to face Logan Gilbert for 7 innings and then in 2 innings of Luis Castillo or something? Given
Mhm.
see he like something like him coming out of the bullpen, or maybe 5 of Wu and then 5 of Miller.
Oh yeah.
Like, bro, no matter how you chalk that up, hitters are gonna have a problem with it. Like, we're in such an advantage when it comes to that aspect. We just have to get there. We just have to fucking get there, man.
Mhm. That's why it's been
Ah,
so frustrating at times this year. I can't remember what I wrote down, but I want to say we were like 1-11 versus Detroit and Anaheim in July and August. I mean, if we just go 500 against those teams, we're in first place, ready to crush the competition. But that's not what happened. We're 3.5 games back, 30 to go. Let's fricking go, man. We are going to come down at Houston. Big Tex Bryce Miller has brought his ERA down to 3.23 with a .98 whip, career high on Monday night with 10 Ks, no walks. 10 Ks, no walks? Are you
big
freaking
dog.
kidding me? Are you
Yes,
kidding me?
sir. Yes,
Dude.
sir. Yes, sir. Dude, that man was dealing. They what's his name, hit the home run on him. Uh, Lau. I don't know. I don't never know how to say it. One of
Uh-huh.
them's one way, one of them's the other. Man, I don't know how to say them. Okay, forgive me, but that home run, you could just see him. He got pissed. Like cold stone, cold face, just locked in, delivered. It's absolutely delivered. You love to see it. Ginger Fit says Wu will be the ace of the team when he develops one more pitch. Dude, I don't even know if he needs one more pitch at this rate. Man is obviously one more pitch won't hurt, but dude has just been playing out of his mind.
It's
Absolutely out of his
crazy.
mind.
It's crazy too. Ginger Fit's right though. I mean, the guy's throwing like his fastball at least 50%. He basically throws his four seamer and a sinker, and then mixes in a couple now and then. But I mean, it's unbelievable. What is it with this fastball? I mean, it looks center cut, and guys can't
His
even.
release point is what
Oh,
people have been talking about. His release point is it messes up. I guess it messes up the batters. I'm not exactly sure. I heard somebody mention it tonight though on the game, and they were talking about.
kind of coming at more of the sidearm angle.
Yeah, it's just an awkward angle for the hitters to track the ball. I
Okay.
guess they were saying that the guy that pitched against us tonight also kind of has one, but not as drastic as Woo's.
Okay.
So
It kind of worries me because it's part of what makes him so good, so you can't really change it. But I'm wondering if that delivery is also why he's has arm problems.
that's a very, very good question, actually.
You know,
And yeah, and you're also I'm looking at his pitch distribution chart. 51% fastball this year. His four seam. He's used a sinker, changeup, slider, and sweeper as well.
how much does he use his sinker?
24%.
So he basically uses a fastball variation 75% of the time.
76, yeah. And then
And these dudes still can't
9%
touch him?
changeup. Nope. It's his pitch. Yeah, yeah. Dude is I'm on Baseball Savant right now. Yeah.
Now that's a
His
website.
fastball his fastball run value is 97. His pitching run value overall is 97, which is
I mean, that's the
outstanding.
top of the league.
That's outstanding. Oof.
So that means
Dude,
for every 100 major league pitchers, there's only 3 that are better at him in those categories.
that's crazy. His
Oh, excuse
off-speed
me.
value is 85. Interesting. Oh my goodness.
Okay, Ginger Fit saying could be back Wednesday. Robles back maybe tomorrow. I heard JP was playing in Tacoma, or at least for Tacoma, so that's the sign that you're right around the corner. It breaks my heart a
Ooh.
little bit, but I don't know about you, Indy. Do you think that JP should automatically be back in the lineup when he is healthy?
I'm just glad I'm not the one that has to make these decisions
Because it's not
because
last
it's
year's
like
JP. It's not
it's
20 home
not.
run JP. It's 205 JP.
And if you look at Revis's last what 10 games or whatever, the man is he's making his case to stay up at the major league level. You know,
Oh, interesting. You see
his
what
last
Ginger
7
Fit Dad
games,
just wrote?
381. I think they will keep up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I Tyler, we were just talking about it.
Speak on it. You said
We were
it.
just
Speak on
talking
it.
about it. A lot of people are saying that he's not. That he doesn't look ready. That he doesn't. He looks lost at the plate or whatnot. And we were talking about how he just hasn't really played all that much at the major league level. So it's like, yeah, I mean, he hasn't looked the greatest. He hasn't been available like the most. He's been injured at times, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like when you got a guy that's batting in his last 15 games 317, his last 7 381, compared to whatever Dom Canzone is. I know it's not that. You got to at this point in the season, you have to keep up who's hot, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't you can't roll the dice on that shit when you have no room to play with. Like we were talking about earlier, we have no room.
And this isn't anything really against Canzone, even though y'all know I've been really critical of him. And part of it is because everyone's like, his potential, his potential. The dude is like 27 now. Like, I don't know about you, but we're starting to run out of potential here. If this was like basketball or football, we'd be like, there's no potential left in that. You are what you are. Baseball is a different sport, though, and he has had very minimal major league action. And it really hurts because who knows what he could have done if he stayed healthy this year. He's had two significant stints on the injured list, and it's really tough to be a good hitter when you're not playing enough baseball consistently to find your timing. Ginger Fit says he's home run or bust, and I brought the stats out on him a week or two ago, and he is literally the most low leverage hitter I've ever seen before. He's really good with nobody on. Then it just plummets into terrible when it's a critical situation with runners in scoring position, etc. Here's the thing about Canzone. This isn't about him. This isn't about his future with the team because he is a cheap player who's controllable. So that's always a good thing. But let me ask you, Indy, are you going to play him over Robles?
Nope.
Are you going to play him over Julio?
No.
Are you going to play him over a Rosarena?
No.
Are you going to play him over Rayleigh?
Nope.
Going to play him over Haniger?
Nope.
Going to play him over
Probably
Demo?
I was gonna say not even Demo.
And so there we go. What did we list? We just listed 5 or 6 guys that can play the outfield. It's really a numbers game. Good call, Ginger Fit. And I want to keep Revis up too right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at their stats for the last 7, 15, and 30 games side by side. You have a guy that's 381, like we said in the last 7, and a guy that's .071 in the last 7 games.
Oh.
21
And
at
they're
bats for Revis, 14 at bats for Canzone.
so Canzo's not even getting in then right now. And if he's struggling that bad and he still has a future with the team as of right now, I think it'd be the best interest for him and the ball club to go to Triple A and get his confidence back, if anything else. Because I have a feeling if Dom Canzone goes back to Triple A, there's not much of a minor league season left, but I would bet you a week's paycheck that he just rips the shit out of Triple A pitching after the amount of time he's been in the bigs right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Junior Fit, you're right. I mean, I agree. You can't send him down. You can't send anybody that's hitting well at all down when that's literally all we fucking need right now is people that can hit the ball.
And from my eye, he's played good defense. I mean, what did I
Oh
say? A
yeah.
point 5 WAR in 29 games? Dude, that's really good. That's really, really good right there to amass a point 5 WAR in 29 games. And this is considering that the guy doesn't even slug really. I don't think he has any home runs. Can't remember him hitting a double. I'm sure he has, but
Yeah,
I
no
think
home
it's
runs.
Revis is fun though because in an era where it seems like everyone's playing all or nothing baseball, this guy's a throwback.
Yeah. I like him. Can't remember. Was it tonight? He made a nice double play. It was like real recent. And that just made me just man, it just made me feel like we have so many borderline starters that it is like frustrating because they'll call people up and then send them down, and then call them up. They'll do like earlier with Bliss, like the call up and then send down, and he would be hot every time they called him up, you know. And it's just I don't want to see that happen with him, right? Especially not right now when he's as hot as he is, and he's playing great defense, and he seems like the clubhouse really likes him. I've noticed every time, like I don't know how to explain it properly, but it just seems like he there's good vibes around him, which, you know, vibes are important. Gino taught us all that.
Well, he's an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
And I would bet you, because he spent so many years in the minors, I bet you there's not a player on the Mariners that right now that is more appreciative of being in the big leagues than Rivas right now.
Yeah. For sure. Dude is 5'8", 150.
He gets everything out of that 150 pounds. I know that.
Oh, everything. That's crazy. Man,
well, our Mariners need to take care of business, though.
Yeah, for sure. We're in a tough position, but we're not out of it. So, as long as they keep that mindset that they're not out of it, you know, anything can happen. Baseball's a weird sport. A month from now, we could be 6-7 games ahead. You never know. You know.
You're right. Well, and
know.
Ginger Fit is the one that's really been putting down for us, talking about the tough schedule for the Astros. And I'm looking for the Mariners. We have the Rays, the Angels, the A's, and the Cardinals before we have a couple of tough series. So we have 4 series in a row that we need to win and can win. It is go time. You think Dan and Edgar give a shit about 3.5 games? These guys came back from like 11, 13, whatever the hell it was in August back in the glory days of 1995.
It's time to rake. They need to go out there and just pummel the ball against these lesser teams, get their confidence, and just show up and not, you know. I don't want to say it out loud, so I'm not going to. We just need to show up.
Show these teams. Show out.
Yep.
That's the funny thing about baseball, though. You have to have a certain calm in the batter's box. If you want it too much, that's when shit goes bad. And I think that's where Julio's struggles have been this year, really, is to me, he just tries too hard. And if he just lets the game come to him, is a more selective hitter, we will see the guy that was a true all-star, a true difference maker. But let's do it, man. We have the best starting staff in baseball. Guys like Colin Snyder have just surprised the shit out of me. He's got an ERA under 1.3, I believe, right now. I mean, and look at, what did I tell you? Everyone's been shitting on Trent Thornton lately, and it's because he's been a high leverage reliever, and that's not his role. He was pushed into that position because of underperformance and injury in the bullpen. He comes in Monday night, up 5-1. What, I believe 2 strikeouts and a ground out? 3 up, 3 down? I mean, that's that shit we want. He's not a bad pitcher, but everyone plays a role in life. Everyone plays a role on a team. If you can get guys to be in the role that suits them best, that's when shit goes well. Let's fucking do it, Mariners.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Edgar will get him right too. With Julio, I've never seen somebody swing out of their shoes so much, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ever. And I never noticed that about him earlier in his career. Personally, I don't know. It didn't feel like he was always swinging out of his feet, like swinging himself off balance almost.
It's because he's been trying too hard. He's trying to live up to his contract. He's trying to live up to his superstar status within the game. That was like the first thing I noticed about him. He was obviously doing terrible to start his rookie year, but once he caught fire, I just kept thinking to myself and telling my wife, I can't believe this guy's discipline and approach for his age. And like we said, it's gone backwards. I do not think this is the end of him. I do think that this is going to be a blip on the radar when we look back at his career when he retires. But I mean, this is baseball. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't Corbin Carroll done terrible this year after
Oh
winning
yeah.
Rookie of the Year last year? I mean, it is a bitch being a hitter right now in the major leagues. So I don't want to just give everybody a free pass, but guys like Aaron Judge are the outlier, not the norm.
Oh, 1000%. It is. I mean, there's no way in hell I would look forward to being to hitting against any one of our pitchers or any one of our minor league pitchers at all because that shit would be hard as hell. Doesn't matter. Like being a hitter, pitching has gotten exponentially harder. Not well, harder to hit, I should say,
Oh
as
yeah.
time has gone on. Bro, exponentially harder. And I mean, at this rate, well, it's just going to get harder, right? It doesn't seem like it's going to get any easier.
It
And
feels like the technology is helping the pitchers more right now.
I was about to say, and the robot umps are going to come in, and they're not going to miss no strikes. You're not going to get gifted a walk. Like, you know, it's going to get serious. Like, I don't know. It's tough. That's got to be one of the toughest jobs in sports, for sure, if not the toughest.
Ginger Fit says batting average is down throughout the league. Me and Indy did an exercise a month or two ago before we went on the air, and together we were looking up how many hitters were over 300 in a given season, and this year is comparable to a couple years ago. So basically, right now is the fewest 300 hitters since 1968 we found, and that was when Bob Gibson and Sandy Koufax were killing everybody so much they lowered the mound that off season. There are so few
Mm-hmm.
300 hitters that we are in lower the mound territory. That's what it is right now. But guess what, y'all? In an era of pitchers, the Mariners have the best fucking group there is.
Fuck yeah, we do. No debate. I mean, I saw something earlier. We have like 76 quality starts or something like that. And lost 25 of those games.
That's pathetic. The league averages 244.
If
What
we
is
if we
going on?
Yeah, that's crazy. Absolutely insane. But if we could just win half of those 25 quality start games we lost, we'd be sitting super pretty right now. We'd be rolling into a series against who'd you say we have next after this one? The Angels and the A's or something?
Angels, A's, and Cardinals coming up after this Tampa Bay series. So it's time to do work. It is absolutely
Oh, it
time to
is
do
time to
work.
do work. Yeah, it's time to capitalize on those beautiful fucking diamond arms that we have. It's time to
That's what I'm talking
capitalize on
about.
that shit.
And then on the other side of the coin, let's go Phillies. Let's go Royals. Stack up some losses on the Houston Astros. It's been a quieter night because we are late on a Monday night, not our normal Sunday evening. Missing some of the homies in the live chat, but we still love all of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Anything on your mind right now, bro?
Man, I just want to see playoffs baseball back in Seattle, man.
Yeah, I
And
think we all
if
do.
we don't see it, at least see a fight for it here the last month. You know, like I just want to see that fight consistently. I don't want to see any rolling over. I don't want to see any 12 strikeout games. Like, I want to see high pitch counts for the other team starters. I want to see demon at bats. I want to see patience. Man, I hope so. That would be a fucking story to tell, Ginger Fit Dad. That would be a story to tell if Edgar and Dan help us win the division like 95. That would be a story to tell.
True, man. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting
Yeah, I was about to say
goosebumps.
the chills are hitting me. And it's just like we got a new era in Mariners baseball, albeit it happened mid-season. We have a new era in Seahawks football. We got a lot to look forward to.
We do. We do. And screw the Eagles, RG.
Oh, yeah. Fuck the Eagles.
Except I think
They're
they'll
like,
probably be good, but
yeah, they're trying to Golden State Warrior their way to the Super Bowl. Sign all the good motherfuckers.
it's a good move for them.
Hell
Get
yeah.
Saquon, make your rival worse, make yourself better. But we'll get into that much more once baseball is over.
Yeah, for sure. I hate that there's a whole fucking week off in the NFL. Like, I was ready, man. I'm ready for football to start now. I want to see Bo Nix get his shit rocked.
Oh man. Oh,
Oh,
Seahawks fans
sorry, Ginger
though.
Fit.
Oh, ouch, dude! You hear about Uchenna Nwosu? Sprained
I don't want to.
MCL, out two to
Yeah, they're
six
saying 2 to
weeks.
6. Yep, 2 to 6. We traded for an edge rusher from Jacksonville, and I was looking at his honestly like something there.
Yeah,
And if anybody's gonna get something out of him, Mike McDonald's him. So
fair enough.
in
It
his
just
limited
cracks me
action
up.
last year, he's making moves. I mean, he has like 5 or 6 pass defense playing edge.
Oh wow, okay.
It's not it's not bad. In his limited playing time, something there. He's long. He's got some
Bo is
burst.
about to carve y'all up, Ginger Fit. I don't know, man. I think Bo Jackson's too old to do that shit, bro.
You're talking about the wrong Bo, man. I don't think he likes playing in Washington.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Well,
that
it's
fraudulent
been
first
real.
round pick ain't gonna do shit. Yeah.
Ooh, ouch. 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 It's about to get real lit when football starts. Because
I
we're
can't wait for
except
week one.
except for Texas Power, we're all on the same team for baseball. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of shots fired across the bow once football starts. It looks like that's
Yeah,
going to be the case.
yeah. I have a special place in my heart for the Broncos. They brought a lot of joy to me. A lot of joy.
Let's go. Well, it has been a thrilling week for Mariners fans. I I do feel bad for Scott Servais. I really do. Because I feel that the players let him down. If these guys hit better, he still has a job. But you know what? They always say, and I believe it, in pro sports, you are hired to be fired. And that's really cool. Gingerfit says his uncle played for the Broncos. Now it makes a lot of sense why he's a Broncos
That's pretty
fan.
cool.
RG has family ties to the Eagles. That's why he's such a huge Eagles fan. So I could sure understand if you have family ties, I wouldn't go for my region like I always do, but I don't. So here we are.
Yeah, that's pretty sick though. Man, the time is now for the Mariners. The time is now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The marathon of a season is now a freaking sprint. We have Dan Wilson as the manager. We have Edgar Martinez as the hitting coach. We are having better at bats. We're scoring more runs per game. We are walking more. Let's see some home runs. Let's see some doubles. And let's fricking do it, man. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. And Dave Niehaus is in heaven right now. My, oh my, Danny Wilson is the manager of the Mariners. Y'all gotta be kidding me, bro.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm
Oh,
talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
yep. All right, man.
Well,
I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I know I'm not the usual face on the screen, and I'm still getting my my training wheels off and the whole talking shit. So, thanks for bearing with me.
you're a little pastier than our normal co-host.
Oh, I wouldn't say a little. I would say a whole lot fucking pastier. I'm on the whole other end of the shade spectrum.
There we go. That's our homeboy Indy, the super producer, mastering the ones and twos for us, pinch hitting for the legendary RG1. Y'all know RG3. I'm calling him RG1 because he's the number one in that thing. But Indy, we thank you for everything we do. Super producer, Vaden Podcast Services, him and his fiance Darby holding it down for us. Vaden Podcast Services. Got to give a huge shout out to my wife Katie, who's always helping us on the social media. Love you, thank you. And then of course RG, Big Papa, always holding it down. We miss you, big bro. And
World's
then of
biggest
course,
Seahawks fan.
There we go. Huge shout out to all the homies in the live chat. We miss you. We love you. Y'all bring so much fire to the show. You don't even realize how important y'all are to us. I'm Ty Talks 24. Get at us, people. Let's go, Mariners.